What's going on, Failroaders? I'm Joshua Thomas, and the first thing I've got to say is Happy New Year. I am live streaming right now, like an hour and a half before 12 midnight on New Year's Eve, but I'm not gonna draw this out till then. But tonight we are talking about Chocobos and how they might be implemented into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So far in Remake, we have simply seen them as a means of transportation, as fast travel. And we've had a couple missions that involved them, mainly searching for them to find them, feed them, and expand upon the fast travel locations that we have. But in the original game, they were used a lot more. And of course, it's a full feature length game. Feature length? It's a full length game from beginning to end, the original game. And all of the Chocobo interactions that we had and the Chocobo uses that we had were outside of Midgar. So now that we're getting outside of Midgar, and there's the possibility that we're going all the way to the Northern Crater, which means that we will pretty much travel the entire planet of Gaia. What kind of events or games or things are we going to be able to do with the Chocobos in Rebirth? So let's just get started with it. Let's start with the first thing that we're probably going to see, and that is the Chocobo farm. So what kind of things can we do with the Chocobo farm? Well, that's where we learn how to go out into the wild and lure wild Chocobos and capture them. In the original game, we could capture a Chocobo using the Chocobo lure materia, and we could ride this wild Chocobo around the world map area, the Chocobo farm area, or the calm area, and use it to get past the swamp that the Midgar Zalem resided in. So this is probably going to be something similar in Rebirth. At least I hope that there is. I do hope that we get this wide linear area where we can travel and explore. I've been playing God of War Ragnarok recently. Fantastic game, by the way. I'm freaking loving it. And I really like the way that they handle sort of their wide linear-ishness. There's very corridor-like areas, but then it kind of opens up and it branches out into sort of a spider web and gives you multiple different paths that you can travel. And I'm in Vanaheim right now, if that lets you know how far into the game I've gotten. So I haven't seen in Ragnarok how expansive the exploration will get, but I do hope that we have explorable areas in Final Fantasy VII, and if we're able to ride Chocobos, which I really hope is a mechanic that we get in the game. Reconnecting. All right, here we go. We're reconnected. So, disconnected again. I'm just going to keep talking. Hopefully none of this gets dropped out. We'll definitely have an area where we've got the farm, so we know we got the farm because we've encountered Chocobo Bill at the very end of Intergrade. And so logically, he drops us off at Calm and he keeps going, presumably to his farm. So let's continue, and we'll say that yes, there is going to be some kind of capturing Chocobos. Whether we get to put them in the stables right at the beginning of Rebirth or not is another question. That's something that we couldn't do till later in the game. I think in Disc 2 or Disc 3. If anyone remembers that, feel free to comment on that, and I'll be sure and watch that. So, explorable areas. The Chocobo farm, meaning that hopefully we'll be able to capture Chocobos. The next time that we really encounter anything different regarding Chocobos. Hopefully, in each of the different wide searchable areas that we encounter, there will be areas where we can equip the Chocobo lure materia or some other device. I do wonder if it's going to be a materia or not that allows us to capture Chocobos in Rebirth. Much like a lot of people are hoping that the assess materia becomes an ability instead of a materia, which I don't know that they're going to do that. Either way, they may give us some kind of device or something that would allow us to simply lure Chocobos, or maybe just simply having Gazal greens will allow us to lure Chocobos in certain areas where we see their tracks on the ground. It'd be fun to be able to ride them, whenever we feel like we need to. The next area where we actually do something different with Chocobos is actually the Gold Saucer. We get to race these Chocobos at the Gold Saucer as a part of the main storyline. You can also bet on them, the Chocobo races, earlier. I hope that there's some kind of betting mechanic at the Gold Saucer for these races. It was enjoyable to see them run in the original game. I don't know if people will feel the same way about it in modern day. They might be like, you know what, I don't want to watch and bet. I just want to actually play them and race them. So I can see possibly betting being in there, but maybe just racing them being the primary mechanic. So when we get to the Gold Saucer, I do believe, at least I hope that when we get there, it runs through the same story elements that it did in the original, and we do get to use Chocobos. We get sent down into the Corel prison, which is at the base of the Gold Saucer, and it is a Chocobo race that we have to use to win our way out. Whether they're going to make it one of those things where it's like, oh, you've got to pass it your first time, you can't fail. I don't know. We might be able to do multiple races or something like that. But then after that initial race, we don't really get to do that again until we start breeding our own Chocobos. So Chocobo breeding, that's definitely something that perhaps late game we will get to do. I'll be surprised if it's early game. So if upon getting some means of transportation or some means of fast travel, which Chocobos could also be an early game means of fast travel as well. Whether it's going to be Chocobo Sam or not, I don't know. Let me know what you think our means of fast travel is going to be, or if you think we're going to have a world map, that kind of thing. I'm thinking it's going to be open areas, and maybe once we have the tiny Bronco, maybe we'll be able to transport Chocobos that way. Maybe we'll be able to go to different areas, capture them, take them to the Chocobo farm, and possibly start breeding them. At least, if nothing else, to make stronger Chocobos. Now, if you ever saw in the first Soldier that you could obviously get Chocobos, they had tons of colors in there, and in the OG game, I meant to have the book right here with me. I know in the OG, aside from the regular yellow Chocobos, you had the blue, green, black, and gold. Let me know. Let's see, the blue one was the river Chocobo, or was there also a red one? There was a river one, a mountain one, which may have been red. And then there was the black Chocobo, which could fly, or maybe the red one was a mixture of the blue and the green. I'm getting the colors confused. I should have had the book with me. And then obviously there's the black Chocobo that can fly, or that can travel across oceans. And then the gold Chocobo is the one that can fly. That's what I'm remembering. Correct me if I'm wrong, if this is just psychobabble that I'm spouting out here, but I don't think we're going to get a gold Chocobo yet. I don't think they're going to give us a gold chocobo yet. I don't think we're going to be able to access the area where you can get the Knights of the Round. I definitely think they're going to save Knights of the Round for the third installment of the trilogy. But back to the breeding. In breeding them, of course, we'll be able to go and take our own Chocobos back to the Gold Saucer to race them late game to get new items, and maybe some of those items will be able to lead us to getting our final weapons, or maybe unlocking other side quests. Maybe we need to win some kind of artifact or key through the Chocobo races in order to open up the Forest of the Gi, or the G tribe, whatever that might be. Whether we're able to go to Lucretia's Cave, or Lucrezia, however you want to pronounce it, I don't know, but maybe we'll have to use Chocobos to get there, that kind of thing. So if we are able to breed Chocobos, there's definitely going to be an element of exploration in there. I think it would be really cool if in some locations you had to be riding a Chocobo in order to access it. I would love to see Red 13 used in ways to get to locations that the other party members can't, even if it's just to get like a piece of treasure up high on a cliff that only he can access, but also have him limited in that the Chocobos can get even further. Maybe they can get even higher up cliffs, get further across bodies of water, jump over canyons that, you know, he couldn't make it through. And possibly have hidden locations. Pardon me. I was sick Christmas morning, and I'm just now like feeling fully recovered, but you can still hear it in my voice. So I would love to see some kind of exploration involving Chocobos, and I could also see treasure hunting with Chocobos as well. And I get that the exploration, what I mean from exploration and treasure hunting is, yeah, you're going to have some kind of exploration to get to certain dungeons where, yes, you can get treasures, so I guess you could call that treasure hunting, but I mean where you actually have to use the bird itself. We've seen this before in other Final Fantasy games where you use the Chocobo and maybe you found some kind of clue giving you the location of a buried treasure, and you had to go find it, start digging in locations, and maybe either the Chocobo would give you a hint as to how close you are, or some other means like that. But of course, you know, you dig in a location, you find the buried treasure, and heck, that could also lead to special items, special accessories, maybe materia, and of course maybe also finding things like the keys to locks, and getting, once again, the final weapons that you'll have at the end of Rebirth. So I think that's really it for the things that I was thinking of involving Chocobos. I think I've pretty much covered it. You know, using Chocobos for travel, getting past the Zalem early in the game, racing at the Gold Saucer, racing Chocobos, a means of fast travel between open areas, breeding Chocobos at the Chocobo farm, capturing them in the wild, of course, then, of course, using them for exploration and treasure hunting. So let me know in a comment below what you guys think we'll see Chocobos doing in Rebirth. Do you think we're going to have special side quests where it's like mandatory? Do you think they're going to be an important part of unlocking some locations? Do you think we're going to need to use them to get to new locations that are a part of the main story? And then, of course, let me know if you think we're going to be able to breed a gold Chocobo. So thanks for watching. I'm going to end it there. Once again, Happy New Year. Be sure to check out more board game and video game videos on the FailroadExpress, and I'll check you guys next time. Actually, next year. See ya.